So I read this book. They use this term in terms of what's going to happen, like once AI is like full blown, which is of course starting now. They use this term called cognification, in the sense that people will start to add existing workflows and framework. That means, example, if you talk about videos, you take videos plus AI. You talk about crafting an article plus AI. So everything will be plus AI. So in terms of the real estate workflow, maybe we can talk about, let's say for transactions, and also on the marketing portion, like which portion or which particular kind of like workflow do you think will start the adoption first? Like, is it more towards the marketing side? Is it more towards like maybe like the video creation side, or like even like data tools, valuations, right? Which I think valuation will be the easiest to implement, to add in AI and stuff like that. So, or how about like in future, maybe even certain transactions workflow are a little bit more automated already. But of course that involves the authorities and stuff like that. So which one do you think will be the earlier adopters for the real estate transaction spectrum?
I think we have seen it being adopted in marketing, right? So for example, we have seen what do you call it, the
content space.
Like you have a room which is furnished in a particular style and you don't really like it. You want to reimagine what are the other possibilities, right? So AI has been used for that to maybe you want to redesign your space to a Scandinavian style or to a very Japanese style or whatever, right? A few clicks of the button, you can present this to your client and say, okay, actually it looks like this today, but these are the potentials.
Right? As in virtual staging.
Yeah, virtual staging. Right. And you can even do videos of virtual stages, right? So I think that has been done, because I think marketing is always the most interesting to experiment, because your creativity have no boundaries, right? Like you can just think of what works to bring in the consumer. So I think definitely that space is something that will have the greatest penetration for sure. And then slowly it filters down to transactions and to the data analytics.
So with like I mean, like virtual staging has been happening like in the past years, because there's like 3D renderings, but they are mostly still images, or you can do like VFX on videos and stuff, but it takes a longer time, right? So do you think like because we're just trying to see like which market will potentially be so-called like cognified first, right? So will virtual staging overtake physical staging?
In Singapore, no.
As in physical home staging, because physical home staging cost is also very high.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Like for example, if a realtor.
Okay.
Why am I speaking in this context is because I think sometimes when realtors really want to do a good job to get the homes sold for their clients, they engage physical staging companies. Of course, we do engage physical staging companies. We also have our own in-house staging unit as well, but we don't have like an extreme full-fledged of truckloads of furnitures. But it can be costly. And there's
physical staging can be costly.
Like per month, it can go up to like 2,000 over. Some landed properties are 3,000 plus. Do you think virtual staging will replace physical staging because of the hassle and the cost?
I think same answer in Singapore, no. Just because we are too small of a country, right? If I'm really interested in the property, I'm going to go see it. Right? I could be in Tampines and the property could be in Jurong. Takes half an hour.
So let me rephrase my question in the sense that if will companies providing physical staging services be affected because of the rise of AI virtual staging? And of course, like next year, I mean, more goggles are going to come out and stuff like that.
But if your client want to see the unit,
actually clients
physically.
Okay, I think seeing the unit will still happen. But it's more about realtors will then now know that my cost is lower for virtual staging.
And whether they will adopt that.
They want to invest in, because sometimes they come out of their pocket to pay for the
it's already happening, I believe, right? I mean, this virtual staging replacing physical staging.
It is, but not at a fast adoption.
Not at a fast adoption rate. I suspect is ultimately boils down to conversions. Right? I think it's the same for developers. There are developers that launch, like developers can choose to launch without a show flat, without a show gallery. Because show gallery costs a lot of money. It could cost millions of dollars, right?
Yeah, at least 2-3 million.
Yeah, and they still choose today to launch it physically, even though the virtual capability is there. And so we ask ourselves why. And the reason is very simple. People want to touch and feel things, right? And what we've seen is those with show flats have outperformed those without show flats. So from a developer's perspective, yes, they still need show flat. Because like I said, in Singapore, I can just go and visit. But if I'm in China or in the US, for example, like I'm in the East Coast, but maybe I'm thinking of going to the West, right? So the virtual staging part could replace the physical staging in wider places. But from a supply side, I think really it boils down to whether virtual staging works as effectively as physical staging in converting your clients. I mean, I think if the answer is yes, then yeah, it's very. I think the answer is very easy, but if it's no, the answer is no, then I think physical staging still needs to be done, because real estate is very, like you're right, it's very brick and mortar, right? And
it's emotional also.
Yeah, and most people only buy properties
once every 5 to 9 years.
So I want to make sure I see it, I want to make sure I can feel it, lick it, or whatever, right? Before I decide to buy. So I think that is the challenge in the real estate space, not just for virtual staging, but for any sort of innovation to happen. It takes longer time than other industries. Than for ride-hailing industry, for example. Ride-hailing, I could hail 3 rides in a day, right? But buying property, I buy once or twice my whole life, right? So for innovation and technology changes to happen, it will happen, but it may take a much longer time compared to some of the other non-traditional sectors. Yeah.